Hey there, we're going to be going through this room on Tryhackme, and it is the challenge at the bottom. Now, you might have gone through this before, but this room is actually quite good. It teaches you a lot about bypassing server filtering and client-side filtering on websites where you can't do stuff, but it teaches you how to bypass it, so that's pretty good. So we've got this one here, dual.upload vulns.thm we need to get to, but there's a couple of things we need to do before we get started, so let's run through this right from the start. Okay, first thing you need to do is you need to start your machine up. Now, if you've subscribed to Tryhackme and you've done this before, you know this takes about a minute before you get your IP address. So we need to wait for the IP address to start up. On the actual challenge itself, there's some task files that it wants you to download. So we'll download those, and it's a word list. So we'll just save that here, and that has downloaded. So we'll probably use that later, and when the IP is shown here, we need to change our hosts file. So let's just get ready for that. Oops, where did my shell go to? Okay, so let's go to here we go, edit the hosts. Now this room requires you to edit your host file to connect to the IP address, which changes every time you start the machine, so we have to update this, and you can see that all of the host names are in here as well. So this IP address is 10.10.71.37, so let's edit this 71.37. Okay, come out of that, let's do a WQ. So we write that, so I should be able to ping now. Ping this. Now, I did have a look at this last night, but it was a bit too late for me. Oh, the next thing I need to do is actually start the VPN up. I'm not going to be able to ping an IP address on the VPN tunnel if I don't have a VPN up. Okay, so the VPN started. We'll just minimize that because it just gets in the way. And there we go. We've got the response there. That's great. So I can see the website. I've got the IP address there. That's great. And what I need to do now is we need to have a look at the website. But before we do, I'm going to load up GoBuster just to see what we can see on there. So let's open up another one. Now, I've been testing GoBuster out. We've got an actual VNet because we've been using it on some of the other room information. So I basically did this earlier, and this is kind of what we want to do in terms of the word list and that download that's happened. But before we start with this, we need to make sure I spell the directory right. We need to use a word list just to do like the start of the enumeration of the website. So let's see what word lists I have. So it's going to be user share word lists debuster. Oops, debuster. So and there we go. So we can see we've got the uploaded vulnerabilities word list ready to go, which we've downloaded. So you can basically put that somewhere. I've put it in my word list, but you can keep it in your downloads folder and specify GoBuster to use that in the location. But for the first enumeration, we're going to use this one here, I think. We'll try this one. So let's go back to my note and let's put this in here. And let's copy this out. Actually, what we won't do is change the output.txt yet, and that's because I've already run a scan on this, but I'm just interested to see what the small one will do. We keep the threads as 100 and let's run that. So immediately it's found content, it's found modules, it's found assets, it's found admin, content in capitals. Admin is a 200 a response. It means it's going to respond. Okay, 301 is permanently moved or redirect. So that might have been configured to say page not found or something, like a custom HTTP web page usually. Or it just fires off to somewhere else. So that might be a redirection to deal with the error. And that will run and run and run. And it looks like this is what we've got. But we'll keep that running in the background. I'm not quite sure about the 100 threads, whether the server can handle that. We'll know if it can or not because it will get errors here. But we'll assume that this is what we have to go with. So we've got all these folders here. So let's have a look at Burp Suite and let's go to the root of the folder of the root path and just see what we get. So we've got Burp Suite here. Let's close down this session and let's open it back up. So I'm using Kali Linux to do this. It's set up to do different things, which is very useful if you're using Linux on your machine at home. I find it easier to use this compared to Windows, although I do have a Windows boot as well. Anyway, so we're going to the proxy and we're going to turn intercept on. We're going to open the browser. But before we do this, actually, I've just remembered, we need to go to proxy settings because the default profile of Burp Suite doesn't allow you to remove JavaScript from the filter to filter it out. So what we need to do from this filter out section, we remove JavaScript, just remove the JS there, save the proxy. So when you now intercept, it's going to see all the JS files. And we've got Google stuff going on there, tracking information. So let's go to HTTP dual. There we go. There we go. So we'll drop the Google one. Okay, so there's the response. So we forward that on. Let's see what we get. Okay, we've got a JS query color. jQuery color, sorry. Got a couple of scripts there. Another jQuery script. We've got an upload.js. Now, because this is an upload room, if you have a look at the room here, it's basically called upload vulnerabilities. So we're going to be looking at something specific to upload. So this file here is going to contain some interesting information. So I want to intercept the response to that. So we forward that. And we've got a background as well. That could be doing something. But we'll concentrate on the upload first. Drop the Google APIs. This is the upload.js. Okay, I've noticed that actually it hasn't given me the response from the website, and that is because maybe because I've been on this site late last night just to have a look at it, and I think it might have cached the site. So what I'm going to do is just execute that again. So let's do a Control F5. Let's go through that whole process again. So forward to the main site. I'm going to drop the Google thing. I'm going to pass through the color, pass through the jQuery, upload. I'm going to do intercept response. I want to capture, forward that. Okay, so we've got the response now. So remember, if you're having a problem with this here and it doesn't actually show the response, it's because it's trying to load the files off a local machine, if you've been there before. Okay, so we've got 3 checks here by the looks of it. That's pretty standard stuff. So we got check file size here. So if the event target result length is this length, basically that calculation, you get a response. Check a magic number, so it's going to be the hex values of the file, and check the file extension. So it's looking for the extension, the magic number, and it's looking for the file size as well. So we want to basically upload a reverse shell, but we don't want it to be blocked. So we remove these and we forward that back onto my browser, and we continue through, and now we have got an upload. So upload button, and it works and we can upload stuff. So what we're going to do is we need to get a reverse shell. So if you go to this website here, there are a number of different shells which you can download which give you a reverse shell. PHP ones on here, PowerShell things, reverse shell and Windows. Very good website for you to get all these reverse shells. There's a PHP one there, which I've used before as well. So you need to find out what this server's running now, because it's running. Let's have a look what it's running. So there's a bit of a hint here. All web servers do not have a PHP backend. Therefore, it's probably not going to be a PHP one that we need to upload. Now, because we've seen JS files on there, I reckon that the server is not going to be running on a PHP backend. It's going to be running on a JS server, so node.js. So we can verify that. So if we go back to the Burp Suite, intercept, we've got like all of these here. If we go to the HTTP history, we've got all the connections from Burp Suite. Now, if we see this here, X powered by Express, we know that Express is powering that web server. It doesn't matter where you look at. So you got X powered by Express, the SVG, X powered by Express, the root, X powered by Express. So the question is, what is Express? Let's get a website up. We're not intercepting. We'll turn intercept off, shall we? So let's do X powered by Express. Here you go. Express.js, node.js. By the looks of it. Node.js there. So it looks like that this is. So look at this one. Yeah, this looks like it's a Node.js server looking at this. This guy is actually posted here. Okay, so that's Stack Overflow. So we know it's Node.js. So that's a definitive answer there. We've got into the site and we've captured what we need to capture. Now, what we found on the GoBuster scan was we've got content modules assets admin. Okay, so let's have a look at admin a second. I'm interested in that. Let's turn intercept off a second. Actually, what I won't do is go to admin on this page. I'll save this page because I've removed the filters. I'll open up another page and we'll go to this one here. And I'm going to go /admin. We'll take a look at admin. Use this form to activate modules from the modules directory. Enter file to execute. Okay, so it's probably going to run a script in the modules directory, which will be in the root path of the virtual directory for the web server. I guess you can execute other files as well, maybe on the operating system, if you know what the file is. So let's find out what files are there, shall we? We're going to try to upload on this one, which hasn't had the filters removed. I'm going to try and upload let's go to all files, output.txt, invalid file type.txt. Okay, let's try again. Let's try documents, all files. What else have I got? Can I do a PHP? Invalid file type. Okay, so it's not going to allow. So what? Let's have a look at the website. Have you got a nice image of a gem or a gem? Okay, so it's an image we need to upload. So it's going to have probably JPEGs on there. Have I got any pictures? Here you go. Let's have a look at. Okay, screenshot, that'll do. Invalid file type. Okay, so I'm sure that was a JPEG. Let's just go back. All files. Picture.jpg. That's an actual JPEG file. Okay, so the file uploaded successfully. Now the other file might have failed because obviously we're running the filters on here and it might have exceeded the file size. So that image was smaller, but we know that's been uploaded now. So it will accept JPEG files, and we saw before when we remove the filters, it's accepting only JPEG files. So that works. The filter works, and we know that we can upload the file type. So the only file type we can upload is a JPEG file, and if we upload that, we should be able to browse to it through that admin page, or rather run it from the admin page. But as we know from this room, there are systems that change the file name when you upload it. So what we've got to do is, if we upload a file, we've got to scan for it and find out what it's called. So let's go back to GoBuster and let's cancel this. So we know we've got admin modules, assets. So assets and content. Content looks a bit suspicious actually. Modules obviously is for the admin page. Content will probably be the page that we have all of our content in, I would have expected. In fact, we can probably have a look at that if I go to we saw a background.js, didn't we? And I think the content would have been in there. If we have a look at that, should we have a look at that? What have we got in there? Assets. Okay, so let's have a look at the content. So if I go to intercept is on, I'll do Control F5 on that one. So we've got forward. Okay, we've got the fonts. We've got the min.js. Okay, we've got the OTF file, the color, the upload, which we were aware of, background.js. So let's have a look at, just see if we can intercept the response. Does it give us anything here? No, it doesn't. Let's just have a look at the proxy settings. Are we doing, okay, we're filtering out CSS files. Let's, there might be a style on there that like globally sets the output. Let's just redo that again. Let's drop all this, drop forward. Yeah, it's erroring because I'm dropping it up, turn intercept off. Okay, so let's do intercept on, let's do a Control F5 forward. Okay, we've got some style sheets now. Cinzel.css. Not quite sure what that is. Style.css. Let's have a look at the style. Let's turn off intercept. Copy that. Let's paste it into here. Okay, turn intercept off. And we've got style.css. So actually, yeah, we can see here we've got background content, lkq.jpg, sad.jpg, uad.jpg. So we've got 3 capital letters and a lowercase jpeg. So does this change the name into JPEG images, which are 3 letters long? Let's have a look at that. We downloaded that file, didn't we? We put it in user share word lists buster and then upload vault. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so yes, so what we're going to do then is we're going to use this, and it looks like they've used something like Crunch to generate a word list here starting from AAA to ZZZ and going all the way through. Yeah, okay, fine. So what we'll do is we'll use that to look for the JPEGs within the content directory, because it looks like everything's been put in the content directory there. So we've got some information there. So what we need to do is upload the script into the website, and then that's going to change it to a JPEG image. So let's do that. Now we have the original one here, but we've got to download the script first. So go to that website. We think it's running on node.js because there's lots of Java stuff on there. So in fact, I think it definitely is running on that. It doesn't give us any information in GoBuster about that, does it? I don't know, because I've got rid of the screen, but I think I'm going to go with a node.js one. So we need to go to Java, don't we? Perl, reverse shell Perl, netcat, OpenSSL, Java. Okay. Is there a JavaScript one? Should I just find Node.js? Here we go. Okay, fine. So we've got this here. So function, variable, net, cpsh, the client, create a new socket to the client on this port. Okay, so we've got this here, haven't we? Copy. Okay, I'm going to, where am I? Desktop. Go to documents, and let's nano. What we're going to do, shell dot JS, I guess. Paste that in there. Okay, my IP address needs to change, doesn't it? So I'm going to do that. The default one I always use, 1234. And my VPN tunnel adapter is, oh, I'm getting bad packets on the VPN here. Okay, and is that IP address there? So, oops, copy it with a 1. Okay, copy that. So we put that in here. Okay, paste. Paste clipboard, sorry, not selection. Okay, so I'm going to open up a netcat session on that port to that IP. Let's save that. We've got shell.js. Now, if you remember, we'll go back to Burp Suite browser Let's have a look at burps. But intercept is off. This page here isn't running any of the client side stuff. So let's try selecting and uploading documents or files shell.js. And it gives an invalid file. So okay, fine. Let's intercept that and see what's going on. We need to trick it to make sure that it's actually uploading a JPEG. Why does it default as customized files? I need to sort that out. So we'll do that. Select. Why is it not? Okay, I'm going to have to do a Control F5, go through the whole shebang again. So we want the upload one. Okay, intercept response. Background, let's remove check file size. Move the checks forward to my browser. Connection close, yep, fine. Let's select and upload the file again. Desktop now, documents, files, shell.js. Okay, so here we can see the response there, look, and it's loading it as text JavaScript, so we know it's got a backend filter on there. We need to change this to image JPEG and forward that on. Forward that. There you go, file uploaded successfully. So if you make it a JPEG, it actually uploads it, and if you leave it as a JS, it doesn't, because it's looking for the signature of the file, or rather the MIME type of the file. So yeah, that's interesting. So now what I can do, I can run GoBuster. Where's that command on GoBuster? Okay, instead of using that one, I can use the one that was downloaded. That one there, which came from the site. I could t output.txt, but what we want to do actually is we want to run a X for file type, and we want to do JPG, don't we? Because all the files are being renamed to JPEGs, and then we'll t that to the output. So we'll do this instead. So this will be running a lot quicker than the other word list we were using, because it's only looking for JPEG files. Oh, sorry. I need to go to content, don't I? Because we found out that all the JPEG files are in the content folder, not the root directory. Let's try that again. There we go, we got one. Two. So we'll just sit on this, I think. Now let's have a look at the size of that file. I'll tell you what, let's just open up a new window. It's probably going to be easier. And okay, so it's 383 bytes in size. So we're looking for a very, very small JPEG image. We're getting some errors here. Maybe that's the threads. The thread speed maybe that's affecting it. So I'm expecting one to be like 380 or something. Because that was the size of the file that we've uploaded. If it's not found, there might have been a problem with a script maybe for the upload. So what we can do is we can change the file. Instead of shell.js, we'll change it to shell.jpg, and that should automatically change the MIME type, and then we won't need to intercept it with burp suite, which might have caused a problem with the upload, but we'll see. Plus there's the cache as well on the machine. There it is, zqo.jpg. So yeah, 383. So our script is zqo.jpg. Okay, so let me just copy that a sec. Let's just verify that. So copy selection. Let's go back to this. Let's paste that in there, and let's get the website, and it's going to be HTTP, and it's going to be /content, isn't it? / Okay, let's go back to that window I closed, and let's do we'll do this. Oops. Curl, because curl is obviously a text-based browser and has no Java or anything. There we go. URL rejected, no host part in the URL. Okay, it's found it though. There we go, that's better. So it's definitely found it. So that is the file we changed. So it's definitely within that JPEG file there. So we know that is a script we need to run. So that's good. So what we need to do now, remember that admin page? First I need to get netcat. So listen verbose port on port 1234. So listening on port 1234, because we know it's going to connect on 1234 there. That's the script. So let's just close burp suite, or rather just turn intercept off. Go back to admin. I mean, who would put an admin page so you can browse to a path to execute? I have no idea. I really don't, but you know, for this, the purpose of this is what we're doing. So we probably want to use, because this is in the modules directory, so we want to go up a directory and into content, and we know that modules exists because we saw it on the GoBuster scan, didn't we? It was before this here. If we scroll all the way up, is my buffer going to be there? There we go. So we've got modules and content, so I'm going to have to go up from modules and then into content. So let's just do that. Admin, so let's go back to my... So I'm going to have to go to that, I think. So go back to the admin sites. And then paste that in. Contents, zqo.jpg. Go back to my listener. There you go. We've got a connection. So if I do, I am root. So again, no one would configure that in a real world running the web service as root, but if that's who it's running as, so I can do a pwd var www.html. Okay, so the room always says it's going to be in var www. So let's go to that one, and we've got a flag.txt, and there it is, and it's 38k. So that's it. That's that room done. I do like Tryhackme. It's really good for doing stuff like that. I've been working in infrastructure and security for years and years, but this is actually quite fun to do. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Probably boring, I know, but you know, this is what you have to go through when you're doing security. It is boring, but eventually you get there. So yeah, That's good for me. I hope it's been good for you. I'll see you later.